It says going live. You're live. Hey, we're here. Okay, so good. So 10 are. Can you guys hear us now? Can you see us?
Okay, I'm getting something.
Yeah, it says we're live.
I see you now.
Okay. All right. Well, we will. Man, we apologize, everybody.
Let's get Amber on.
Yeah, let's get Amber on here.
Holy cow, she's awesome.
Let's. Hopefully this will go right.
I think it's good.
Okay, good. All right. Hi, everybody. We're calling Amber right now. It's not coming through.
Hello.
Hey, Amber.
Hi there.
All right, so now I just got to get you through my computer here, and then we'll be set. So, wow, she's not coming through the Bluetooth at all. All right, Amber, I'm going to call you back again.
Okay.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Sorry, everybody. This is we're having some major technical difficulties here, but we will get Amber on here in just a minute. Okay, it says it's paired. Huh? How freaking weird is that? And I'm gonna pause this for a minute, everybody. Okay. Yes.
Got it.
Hello.
Hey, Amber. Now you're on the air.
Hello.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
All right. Hey, we're sorry, everybody. We were going to play the introduction, but I guess...
Play the introduction.
Play the introduction. Okay, here we
Play
go.
it.
From the high plains of the Midwest, I bid you good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever your time zone might be. My nod to the late and great Art Bell. I'm Keith Sharp,
And I'm G. Dressel.
and we welcome you to Life After Life, a paranormal webcast where we talk about the paranormal, UFOs, or the unexplained. And the biggest question of them all, what happens when we die? Stay tuned. All right. Hello, everybody. So sorry about the technical problems there. We're learning. But we got Amber Lee on today, and Amber lives in northern Montana. She has had metaphysical experiences her entire life. She just started understanding these experiences about 5 years ago. Since then, she has been able to learn how to direct her energy in a way that has led her to interact with the metaphysical and extraterrestrial. Can you say that for me?
Extraterrestrial.
Beings.
Extraterrestrial. We'll all say it together.
Extraterrestrial. She learned about her role in the hybrid program, which takes place across multiple species and multiple realities in the world. She is hoping by sharing her experience to help educate others and support those who may be going through similar experiences. She also runs 6 Facebook pages. Amber, that's insane. She has she has hybrid babies and children, multidimensional hybrid support. That's one. The Pleiadians, is that correct? How I said that?
Pleiadians, yes.
Andromedans, starseeds, dream work, meditation, and astral projections theory and practice, worldwide laser phenomena watch, and also she has a Facebook store called Stoned Oracle Healing and Design, and she's got some really cool jewelry on there, guys. So if you get a chance, go by her little store and buy a bunch of stuff from her.
Can we plug those like on our Facebook so people
Yeah.
can see it?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know why we couldn't.
Thanks.
But so Amber, tell us about the hybrid program. Tell us what got you into this whole thing.
Okay. First off, I just want to say hi to my sister Annie. 'Cause
Hi, Annie.
Hi, Annie.
But anyway, I had a friend like 5-6 years ago that was talking about a lot of abduction things that they had been through, how it's like a 10-year cycle for them, but they were dealing more with like grays and stuff.
Okay.
But when this person was at my house, I was having a lot of like really crazy things happen.
So
like,
before you go any further, explain to the audience,
Yeah.
what is a gray?
a gray would be like a Zeta Reticuli, would be the group of like planets that they're from, and they would be like the small grays. This is the normal alien figure that you would see on a bumper sticker. They're very popular in the world.
Like Area 51, Roswell.
The little the three-fingered, big head, little eyes. They're short, gray-colored, and they usually come in threes. And they're basically, from my understanding, they're like clones. Like they have to work together, like see, sight, smell. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, there was a lot of experiences. Like they were in my house. This person said that they were like sitting on my face while I was asleep. And they were having abduction things happen from out of my house.
Wow.
So I was trying to understand what was going on, and I was doing a lot of research. And during this time was when my child came to me. She was like 9. She came to me and told me that she was traveling in her dreams to a planet called Tishtay. And I was kind of like, okay, whatever. And then she's like, Mom, I'm very serious. Like, there's a blue girl. She makes me fly. We go to places.
Oh, my God.
And, yeah, it was cool. So I looked it up, and Tishtay was in the Andromedan constellation.
And as a star, you said, right?
It's okay, so this is how it works. Andromeda is the galaxy behind the Andromedan constellation.
Okay.
So some of the stars within the constellation are going to be pieces of a galaxy, but it's like one star is a cluster group. So Tishtay is a cluster group of planets within different, like Zenitae and different other planets. The marking thing about Tishtay is that when you look it up online, which, I mean, I'm just saying online, it states that it's the Andromedan Council. And I had no idea what she was talking about. She obviously had no access to the internet. She can't spell Andromeda.
Wow.
Right.
So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So from her dreams and stuff, I started looking into this. Also, having metaphysical experiences, she had seen 2 giant, like, iridescent purple-blue beings that came to her in different experiences. And this was all happening for all of us at the exact same time.
And it's in your dreams?
It was, my sister was having actual beings come in her presence. My daughter was having astral projections. My friend was having, these abduction experiences, but I was not yet really understanding what was going on.
Were you guys all in the same house at that time?
My daughter and I were. I had, my friend came over occasionally, and then my sister was in Arizona.
Okay, got it. Wow,
And I'm in
that's
Montana.
wild.
So was it the same being that you guys were seeing?
I'm sorry?
Was it the same being that you all were seeing?
I believe that my sister is seeing a pair that basically guides her specifically. My daughter is seeing somebody that guides her specifically. And, the other person was experiencing things that were affecting them specifically. It seems to be a pretty individualized experience across the board for each person.
Wow.
There are groups of people that have similar experiences, but from there's really a break off into, well, this is what happened to me, and I had a similar experience, but this is kind of what happened to me. Gotcha. With anything,
Yeah, when we first talked, you said you had a good friend of yours that believed that they were a hybrid. And how did how did they come to that conclusion? I mean, how do you know you're a hybrid?
Well, I mean, there's like the Rh negative rumor, that they don't have the rhesus gene, so they obviously aren't from here, different things like that. There's different signs where you may be sterile, or you may have memories. You could have different flashes of memories are really, really common. Gotcha. Also, when people get pulled out of their reality, like I know that sounds, but if you are, that was an example where I was in my house and they went to the bathroom, were there for 5 hours, and I couldn't understand why, knocked on the door, tried to get attention, and then came back out, and it was told to me that was an abduction experience. So while I didn't experience anything, it was an odd thing for me to deal with on the other side of the door.
Wow.
I did definitely hear things in my house. I've had doors open and close. I've had people almost talk to me like they're possessed negatively about humans, that they stink or they smell their animals, they deserve to be harvested, whatever, you know, and that would be more of like a malevolent thing, which I don't play around with.
Right, right.
So my search for knowledge was to remove the negativity that was happening within my household, basically.
So how do you tell the difference between, like, I mean, if your house is haunted or it's aliens visiting you, is there a difference between that?
I think there's a difference between it, and you kind of have to be willing to do the research yourself. Like, look into, did someone die there? Did someone live there for a super long time and they were super old? You know, did they use a certain perfume? I had a haunted house. It was an old lady.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Clearly she's got an alien. Her name's Lorraine. You know? I could smell her perfume, and it didn't make any sense because she'd been dead for years.
Wow.
But she lived there till she was 103, and then she moved out, and her ghost came back like 6 weeks after she died. It came back.
Wow.
But then there's experiences where I have also walked into my room, and it looked like I'm going to clarify, I'm completely sober. I don't utilize, you know, drugs or alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
But I walked into my room, and it looked like there were stars hanging in the air in the room, like suspended. And when I walked through, they like moved out of my way. And when I adjusted my eyes, there was a very large, that was up the wall and then across the ceiling and looking straight down at me above where I was in my room. And I got scared. And when I got scared, you know, it went away. So that to me indicates that that would be a gentle being who doesn't want me to feel fear, because if I felt fear and it stuck around and continued,
Right. So it
then
picked
would
up
be
on
feeding
your,
off of that.
it picked up on your fear, and then and because it didn't want to
And I
scare
was
you,
like, oh,
it left.
sorry. Yeah.
But then there's other, is there other entities with, have negative type of, I mean, do you feel negativity? Like if you do feel scared, do they like scaring you or?
Yeah. There's things called little archons. This is going to be your typical, like, they're basically, they look like the typical demon gargoyle type thing. Short, big head, big grin like the Cheshire cat, sharp teeth. Every human's afraid of them. They don't know why. It's like an instinct. But they feed off negativity. They feed off addiction, fear, you know, that type of thing. So they can definitely cause a problem for you, you know?
Right, right. So,
I kind of lost track.
Do what?
I lost track of my famous thought. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. That's
Well,
fine.
I was curious if you believe that there is a link, because you said you had this paranormal experience with the elderly lady who became a ghost. You could smell her perfume. So if there's a link between your paranormal experiences and then your, I don't know if you call them what, extraterrestrial experiences? Metaphysical,
yeah.
right. Metaphysical experience.
Multidimensional.
Right.
Yeah, I just think it's the willingness to be open. It's the willingness to want to learn and to want to access these types of things. You know, things
Right.
didn't really start. Things have always happened my whole life, and I've been very aware of everything, but things didn't really start ramping up until I was like, okay, somebody out there in that grand universe needs to teach me something. You know, and then I started having really serious, like, I guess, downloads and, like, different things come to me in my sleep, in my meditations, just realizations. I've even been, at the risk of sounding crazy, walking, you know, down the street and had full visions in my head of, like, ancient goddesses arising from, and then look up, like, placements of the planets for that day, and it has something to do with that same person. So it's just weird.
So do you feel like, because you started searching it, and you know we've talked previously, and you talk a lot about like high meditation, is that you've opened up almost like a portal in your mind that allows for you to access? Okay.
That's the point. Yeah.
Not
Exactly.
only access it, but also translate it, right?
I mean, I'm not going to say that I'm like a major channeler like a lot of the people are, but I can definitely say that I've had instances where I feel that things have come to me, messages have come to me in different ways. You know?
Interesting. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So, Amber, last time we talked, you said something about you could tell the color of the orbs or energy that you were seeing represented the colors of the chakra. Is that correct?
Oftentimes you can. Like, I'm not going to say every single time because I don't have that information. I just want to be clear on a lot of that.
Right.
But I will say that I've had experiences where people have come to me and been like, I see red orbs. And oftentimes when they see red orbs, I hate to say this, it's a fearful experience for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Red is the chakra for fear, anger. You know, it's
right.
The lower density chakras are the red, orange, yellow, and then once you get into the higher chakras, green, blue, purple, rainbow, stuff like that. And I'm not necessarily saying that it's all negative and positive. My sister had an experience where she saw one that was glowing yellow, which yellow is the color for curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
So what
I
is
kind
that?
of did that research and said maybe it would, and she did say too, it had a curious energy. It was kind of peeking around, looking around, saying like, you know, this is kind of neat in its expression.
What do you feel like the purpose of that is? Like for
Of what?
Like the purpose of, you know, like your sister witnessing that yellow energy of that feeling of curiosity. Like, is there a purpose?
I feel that that's the way that they try to communicate with us, because a lot of them don't speak English. A lot of it's telepathic, and if we're not prepared to speak to them telepathically, they have to use different frequencies and vibrations.
Got it.
Frequencies are literally colors, right? So any sounds that they use, anything is going to reverb back into a vibration, a sound, a color, or a shape. And from there,
That's
you can
fascinating.
dictate, you know, your what's it called? Fractals, your sacred geometries, different things like that, all have different sounds to them, which have different colors, which have different meanings for different emotions within the chakra system.
So the purpose is the purpose of communicating.
Absolutely. In the best way that they know how. It, like, trying to startle you, it's going to try to use the most calm, peaceful. And glowing's a good way, you know?
Right. So, and who is if you don't mind me asking, I feel kind of like a dumbass right now, but who is...
No bad language.
Sorry. So, who is it that's trying to communicate? Who's trying to come through with those feelings of curiosity or anger, right? Does that make sense?
Well, it would just be different people from different places. Like,
okay.
I mean, people call them aliens, ETs. It's really a lot of dimensional work, really. It's a lot of sliding in and out of planes of reality, and they have it down because of beings. So a lot of them don't need an energetic body. They can cast off, you know, a glow. They can cast off a hologram. They can absorb into like a third eye vision. You know what I mean?
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us about the hybrid program. How does that? What is the hybrid program exactly?
Okay, so there's a lot of different kinds of hybrid programs. The first, the one that I personally know about, I've experiences, and I've dealt with a lot of women because I run these hybrid programs. And this is going to get into a lot of women's health care, because honestly, a lot of these women that have these hybrid experiences have endometrial issues as well. They have hysterectomies, they've had miscarriages, they've had loss. And I've thought to myself, is this some kind of bereavement issue that we all have? And I would, you know, if so, I thought maybe we could speak into it. But then as my group continued and as people kept speaking, it's almost like these phantom pregnancies are happening for real. So it kind of gave me the confidence to look more into mine. I've had experiences where initially people came to me and said, I had a vision of you in my meditation, and an alien being was eating you, eating your heart. And I'm like, okay, that's weird.
Wow.
Yeah, that is.
And I've had two people come to me, and yeah, I've had two people come to me and say this. But then I also had my own meditation later on where I came into this body of my own self in a different plane of reality, and it was actually holding a child, and there was no eating happening at all. It was just the perception from outside seemed different than the perception from within. So a lot of that happened. You know what I mean?
So did these two people come to you like pretty close together? Like
yeah, it was within like a week.
Wow, that's...
But we were all meditating together. We were all like actively like, hey, at 9 p.m. there's 10 of us. We're all going to meditate together. We're going to try to find each other in these alternate realms, and we're going to run around. And it feels like a video game sometimes. But that's what we were doing, and that's what we do.
So do you still do that?
Yeah. Yeah.
And do you guys actually see each other in these realms?
Keith wants
There's been people that are able to pull it off. Whether or not we can see each other at the same time is not necessarily key. It's, can you find me in an alternate realm, have a conversation, and can I later on carry on that conversation later on, or is there a message within that you need to tell me that's going to affect me later on?
And you guys,
know what I mean?
You guys are doing this at different locations at the same time.
This is okay. So the biggest meditation we had a guy in the UK, we had one in Toronto, we had me in Montana, we had a guy in California, we had my sister in Arizona, and a couple friends in Montana. But we all meditated together. And this is when a lot of stuff really broke for a lot of us, because we were all focusing on the same thing, playing the same sound at the same time. We were all live on Facebook together in video, and we were just speaking together as we were meditating as this group. And it covered literally half the planet. It was really cool.
Wow, that is really neat.
It is.
Yeah. That's the kind of stuff that's going to change the consciousness of the collective of people, If people can get together and send their energy and focus into one thing, like love instead of fear, anything like that, it's going to change the reality, I think that's why things are so chaotic, because the common collective of people can't decide how they want things to go, so it just keeps changing. We all decide.
That's
You control it.
Yeah. Well, it's to an extent.
Right, because then... Obviously.
You don't want to get into super difficult things like war and abuse and stuff like that. Soul contracts are super, super controversial. But to an extent, you can control the way you perceive your reality in a positive or negative, even if you're in a bad situation.
I like how you put it.
You can choose to stay positive.
I like how you put it that you guys were going to try to get on the same plane and just run around a little bit.
Yeah, it's like a video game. That's how it feels.
That is cool. Very cool. So, I want
to answer a question really quick in the chat. It says, what does green represent? Green is actually love. Green is for the heart chakra.
Mm-hmm.
That's why a lot of people get healing in nature, because trees are green, photosynthesis, the sun, whatever. So if something were to be glowing green, then you would accept that into your heart chakra as love energy. And oftentimes you can feel that,
Wow. Very cool. So what I'm trying to understand, I guess, excuse me, is like if someone's lost a baby, false pregnancies, that kind of thing. Are you saying that possibly this is an alien child? The child was abducted from you and taken somewhere, or just help me?
It honestly depends on the program. Okay. So for me personally, a lot of what I've dealt with is a soul exchange. But there's not actually a physical baby that is going really anywhere. The body has like physical symptoms because it's having an energetic exchange elsewhere, and you're connected to that, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So a lot of what I have perceived to happen is that through the heart chakra mainly, you can connect with another soul or even your own soul, and you can break off souls from that. And then those souls will then go into shells, cavities, human beings, or different beings from different places, and will kind of scatter around. It's almost like a cosmic, DNA scatter.
Right.
And so what I've experienced is that I have had losses throughout my life, and I believe that those souls have chosen to come back to me, and not every single one of them looks human. But every single one of them has told me their name. They have told me their age. It's a rough age because they look a lot older than they really are.
Mm-hmm.
But then I even had a first set of twins that I lost when I was like 20. And I had not had any contact with them at all. I really didn't even think about it. But then my sister had come to me literally like a month ago, and she was crying on the phone. She said she had this dream that these two 20-year-old boys came to me. Mind you, I just turned 40, so timing's right. These two 20-year-old twins came to her, and one was kind of happy, but one was super depressed, and they were upset because they were never named. So she told me that it was really important that I named them. So I named them after some people that I love that had passed on, and now I have connected them kind of to a number sequence. So if I were to see the number 3 or 4 together, then I just auditorially or make sure to think loudly their names in my head just to acknowledge, because whether they are here in this physical reality or not, that soul connection still exists. And if it's a lost soul or a soul that's seeking connection, those can, be really damaged. And those are the ones that actually can heal you back. You know what I mean? While you heal them, they heal you back because they want that love so bad that it's almost an automatic exchange.
So you use those numbers as almost like a mechanism for yourself.
Communication. Numerology is extremely important when dealing with metaphysical beings. Because like I said, the vibrations, frequencies, numbers, colors, it's all the same thing. So if I were to see 44, I connect that automatically to my mother, who also passed on, but also I feel is spirit connection. I believe that she also has an entity type being because I've seen it. And if my sister and I have any kind of spirit connection to Andromeda, they would be through her.
But I'm saying you as Amber would apply that number, and you could pick any number.
I would apply it.
And you would use that as a mechanism, a reminder that you have souls that you need to connect to. Am I tracking that?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome.
It's like a form, another form of communication, like the colors.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is important. We would have to find a way to communicate, right?
You do.
To explain it. Otherwise, we're still trying to explain it.
Yeah, and it starts with looking these things up because they're called angel numbers, and it sounds super Christian, but it's literally numerology. It's ancient. It goes back to Egypt. You know what I mean? They've been doing this forever. So it's the same numbers being the same thing across the board all the time. 5 means change. 8 means money.
Okay,
3 is the Ascended Masters. And so from there, you just read the sentence. 85, great change, and I'm going to have abundance. Cool. 85 is awesome. I love it.
That's the year I was born.
Yeah, awesome. Wow, see, psychic ability. Here we go.
There we go.
And then 44 means that you have a guardian angel watching over you. So I connect it to my mother because when I see 44, usually I'm doing something that reminds me of her anyway.
Wow.
So it's just like a ping on your mind. Hey,
yeah.
I'm here. And it can be anything. It can be the temperature. It can be the percent on your phone.
It can be the street you're
time.
on. I'm going down 44th Street.
44th
I
Street.
live on
Hey.
44th.
Yeah, because I'll see numbers like that sometimes.
Shut up.
I swear to God, I live on
I'm just
44th
telling
Street.
all your secrets, man. There's nothing you can hide from me. I see through the ether.
So is that's interesting though, because there's sometimes when I see the number 7 all the time, or 11.
Yeah.
11's another one, and the funny thing is my
11's gonna be your
birthday's
wake-up number.
Yeah, and my birthday's July 11th, and I'll see the number 11 a lot. And does that mean something?
11 is the wake-up number. A lot of people start seeing 1111, and they'll say, "What's happening? I'm seeing 1111." You'll see all the time. I keep seeing 1111, and you're like, "Bro, chill. Just look it up." What it means is you're awakening. You're coming to. You're gonna start seeing some weird stuff.
Cool.
Buckle in.
God,
it's
yeah, I've
just the
seen some
beginning.
of
That's
those.
why
That's
it's
cool.
1.
Right.
Anything past 3 is emphasis. So 3 is emphasis, like hello, hello, hello. You say it 3 times, and then 4 would be complete because 2 is duality. 4 would stand something up on 4 legs, stability.
Gotcha.
That's beautiful.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know this is kind of a weird question, but I know a lot of the people in the audience want to know, are some of these pregnancies a sexual thing with aliens or not?
Okay, so Bridget Nielsen is another.
Yeah, I looked her up.
Type of mother.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's cool.
She said there's
She
sex
does
parties
have
on
sexual
this.
experiences.
Yeah,
She's having them on the moon, I think.
Yeah.
With reptilians and grays.
yeah.
She's a freak, man. I love her. She's a
Yeah,
little freak.
I was watching an interview with her, and she was talking
Yeah,
about,
she loves
yeah, man, it's a party ship. There's all sorts of stuff going
Yeah,
on.
her smile on her face too. She's like, "Fuck, I can't even say it." Yeah, she knows. She eats it up, and I am here for it. Those are not my experiences. I've never had sexual experiences.
Right.
Right.
But she has. So that's what I'm saying. It really depends on, is the being going to transmute into a physical being? A reptilian and a gray absolutely will transmute into a physical being.
Mm-hmm.
They will, if you give them permission to use your body as a host, they're going to use it. They want to do that because all this is preservation of a species. If they can mix their DNA with a human, they can have a higher chakra system. They can have a higher healing ability. They're basically making super machines out of people.
Where are
You
they
know what I
going?
mean?
Where are
And
the super machines going?
some of them, we could
Elon
get
Musk?
into this. We
Is-
could get into
is
this
he-
because it's been rumored through different documentaries there are portals to the moon, and the space program is on the back of the moon. That's why we never went back. The reptilians and the Greys are running the program there, right?
I've always
So-
wondered, like, why we...
Yeah. This is for people. Some people don't believe in the moon landing. Some people do. We're going to just go with the people that do.
It's
You
neither
can
here
listen
nor
to the
there, yeah.
recordings.
Right.
Yeah, they can listen to the recordings on the moon when they're talking. They can say, we're being watched. They're surrounding us. We need to get out of here, basically. They communicate this back. But this is, like, widely known. And Alex Collier does a lot of information on Andromedans and reptilians, specifically the Orion Wars, and the Draconian Wars, where basically the reptilian Draconians are coming through and they're just destroying different groups as they go, because they're mining gold and oil, which, if you think about this planet, what is being mined more than anything on this planet? Gold and oil. So it's kind of blended into different factions.
So are some of these species going extinct? Is that why they're breeding with humans, or what's up with
Greys can't reproduce on their own because they're clones.
Okay.
So they've made the Essassani, which is a benevolent group specifically in like 4D, which is like just above physicality, so they can communicate through telepathy with us, but they can't really come here because it would harm their bodies. The vibrations are too dense here. It would deteriorate them. But the Essassani are communicated through Bashar. He is cool. He always wears Hawaiian shirts. He's real cool. But he
tell us
also
about Bashar.
Bashar talks about other hybrid programs with the Essassani and how they continuously are making children with humans because we have the reproductive system to carry them, hold them, and birth them that they don't have. They lack it.
Wow.
So a lot of those experiences aren't even sexual too, because I would like to point on the fact that when a woman is pregnant, the fetus, if it's a female, already has the eggs in her body. So if somebody wants to come in and take DNA, they can take DNA from an infant within a pregnant person, that infant, and you can have a hybrid that's older than your own self through that program.
Wow. Blowing
And
my
that's
mind
just
again.
basic science.
Amber.
So Amber, how many species are there, you think?
That's innumerable, because we don't know how many planets have life. Like, is there Venetians? They say that there are. They say, what's his name? Valiant Thor worked for presidents for the last how many years, and the dude's like 8 feet tall. He is supposedly from Venus. You know? I know that there's like 5 major groups that would come to Earth. Arcturians probably, but there are a lot of light beings too, where they're going to reflect in the sun and stuff like that. Arcturians, Andromedans, Pleiadians, Sirians, Greys, Reptilians, basically. That's because they're kind of in our neighborhood.
Got it.
Okay. So
And then Andromedans really have to travel to get here.
Wow. So you're friends with Bonnie Rampey, is that her name, I think?
Yeah.
And she can kind of almost like summon UFOs. Can anybody, if they go into that meditative state, can they bring aliens to themselves?
Stephen Greer does it. Have you seen his stuff?
I know of him, but I don't know a whole lot about him.
He does a CE5 meditation, Close Encounter of the Kind, where he actually goes out with groups and they all meditate together and they focus their energy on bringing whatever is closest to them that is not intending harm. And they will bring UFOs to them almost every single time.
I could do that.
And there's
I would do that.
tons of documentaries on this.
But would you?
I would do that.
Yeah, but you.
Yeah,
What if,
do it.
what
You
if-
can do it. You can look it up. He has guided meditations you can listen to on YouTube and hang out, do it outside. You know, you kind of want to be open-minded, be kind of in an area where you feel they would come.
Got you.
Yeah, but what if you
Love.
brought something bad in?
But that's
Garrett?
that's what she said, is that they only bring nice ones, right?
The ones that are not intending to do harm.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I wasn't.
Yeah.
Because I've been in this house when we've had something paranormal, not energy, nothing like that, not extraterrestrial necessarily, and I think it meant harm.
I mean, you got to be careful.
well, of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I have another question here that I want to talk about
Okay.
Hit it.
that says, do they ever take your body without permission? And I'm going to say that depends on the group and what their intentions are. A positive group is never going to take your body without permission, because that would be doing harm to you, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But there are people that talk about having medical experiences with reptilians or greys where they're like strapped down, they've had like their DNA taken, they've had tissues taken from them, super traumatic experiences that are really detrimental to them, and they actually have PTSD from this. And I don't have those experiences at all. I can't relate to them. Like, I don't have a fear of ETs because I've never had really a bad experience to put me through anything like that. But there are other people who are completely shut down because of their super negative experience and can't even accept that there are positive beings. So
now, have you seen reptilians before?
I've seen pictures of reptilians before. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's kind of because you catch them in the light. They're fourth dimensional, so they're not physical beings. They're going to live kind of in a place that's a little bit lighter than this, so they can transverse in and out.
Now, explain to our audience.
But a lot of them are shapeshifters.
I'm sorry. Explain to our audience about reptilians. I mean, they look like the ones I've seen pictures of, Garrett. They look like praying mantises or something. Or,
kind of. They kind of look like, to me, you know those dinosaurs with like the hard head and they butt each other?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's kind of what they look like. They have a crown. They kind of have like a scaly face. They have like a definite prominent brow, kind of like a set jaw.
That's not terrifying.
No, but see, the thing is this, like, they can't help that they're ugly, and a lot of people think that they're super cute, and it really is like an individual thing.
Right,
there can be factions of reptilians who make decisions to do negative things, and they can control different factions simply by getting in the head of somebody. You know what I mean?
Right.
Anybody that's messing with anything magical, so we can go into high order Masons, anybody messing with anything is going to open something somewhere. So if they have the portal and they can control anybody, they can start controlling things which like are mining gold and oil. So reptilians are kind of controversial, but at the same time, I do need to say, because I've been preaching this for years, and I think that's very important, that I'll be the hashtag not all reptilians, because everything is a decision. These are higher intellectual beings from us. That's why they can control people's minds.
And
they're smart.
Well, I've read.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, aren't they very peaceful though, the reptilians?
There are groups and factions that are extremely peaceful. They're carrying on there. There's even believed that there's some under the earth, not even under the earth, but like inside the earth, and that it's potentially hollow.
Mm-hmm.
And there's an inside, upside down world, and that they live within there. There's even considered to be an ancient dinosaur group down there, and potentially an ancient dragon group down there.
And didn't Bridget Lewis, she believes, is most of her interactions with the reptilians, or did I get that wrong?
Her babies are reptilian babies.
Right. So when these people get abducted, I guess what I'm trying to say, the people who's been abducted and they lost time, they have no memory. Do you think these people were taken up and tissues were taken from them or samples?
What was that? I'm sorry.
I said, like, people who have been abducted and they, say they lost time. And do you think that if they're abducted, do you think they're using them for DNA samples, like taking DNA from these people?
If you're being physically abducted by somebody, yeah, because they're going to be a more physically dense group. So they're either going to take you for that or because they're tracking you for some reason, which would be a hybrid reason, if anything. You might potentially be one if you're being tracked. Mm-hmm. It's said that anybody who has experienced the UFO has either been an abductee or is a hybrid. And that's the only reason why they have the experiences.
That makes
They're
sense.
the ones who can see it. Yeah.
Hey, remember you mentioned it, Keith? You mentioned that doctor who would, and I've seen that, and I can't remember where I've seen it, but he'll extract pieces of unearthly materials out of people.
Yeah, the tracking devices.
Where did you see that? I can't remember.
I can't remember. Do you know about the tracking devices?
Tracking devices. I know people that have tracking devices. Actually, the person that was in my house that had tracking device. It would move around, and it's like super soft, like round, like a little BB.
Wow.
But then when you touch it, it would duck in and move around. And then I actually ended up in a few targeted individual groups because I was so into tracking pieces that, I took the rabbit hole. And there's a lot of people in this country that believe they have tracking in their bodies, and they don't know if it's government, they don't know if it's ET, they don't know why. People still, they have like speakers in their face and like all kinds of stuff. And
they've taken these out of people before. I mean, there is a doctor, I can't remember what his name is.
It was well, it's Patient 17 is the documentary on him. I don't remember his name, but I know that he is either passed on or no longer working, and I don't know that anybody has picked up his work.
Now, the things that they've taken out, do they know what this metal is, or is it unknown, or do you know?
I don't really recall, from that specific documentary, I don't really recall, but I know that he was saying that some of the metals were off Earth, that they don't have properties from Earth. And I find that that's pretty consistent when you have people that are having physical experiences,
Wow.
Because it's kind of more of a liquid metal. Not a liquid metal, but okay, how do I explain this? Mercury, is that the one that gets spiky and moves weird?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it would be like that, like it would attach to things and then move as needed, because all of this stuff would have advanced, artificial intelligence.
Yeah. Wow. So let's talk about a little bit. You know a lot about crystals, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so talk about crystals a little bit, like what crystals are good for protection and keeping negative entities away and good luck, and there's all sorts of different ones.
Well, especially for protection, I think rose quartz is the most important, because a lot of people use black stones, but the problem is too, some black stones close off your energy, and you want to keep that still open. So rose quartz protects with love energy from the heart chakra, even though it's pink, and it protects with love energy, which is infinitely more powerful than anything else, because these other black stones are going to absorb negativity, yes, but rose quartz is going to not allow it to exist in the space because it's emanating a higher frequency.
Gotcha.
So I suggest that everybody puts rose quartz in their house, at least in a few places, their sleeping areas maybe, and then their main living area. And then if you want to do black stones on the perimeter, that's cool. But they need to be, cleansed, at least put out in the moonlight a little bit, just to make sure that gets absorbed so that they're still active, because they can get,
Yeah, because I have a black tourmaline. It's like, do I have to cleanse it every night? Because
some of them don't need. If it's tourmaline, black tourmaline does not need cleanse. You should look it up, because different things like selenite doesn't need cleanse, kyanite doesn't need cleanse, the tourmalines don't need cleanse, but anything that's quartz related, is probably going to need it from time to time. Cleansing, clearing. You can use the moon. Some people use running water, but if you're going to use running water, the good reminder is if it ends in ITE, not to put it in water. It's either going to erode or cause some chemical reaction.
Oh.
So.
Yeah, they told me that to rinse mine with even that black tourmaline. They told me to rinse it with water.
Don't put black tourmaline in water.
Well, that's what they told me.
Well, they are not right. But if you are going to use water, mostly just use it for hard quartz stones that are solid with no pores, because you don't want it to erode. And you would want to use live running water, like a stream. You don't want to use anything from your sink or anything like that, because dead water doesn't count.
So this is just putting out energy, right? That's what these are doing?
Yeah, they have a different vibrational frequency. If you were to tune into the frequency of a crystal, it's extremely high. The molecular structure of them isn't even a solid. It's just moving so fast. That creates a solid, yes, but still, it's they're an interesting thing, really.
So it's back to vibrations and different levels and
frequencies.
Frequencies is the word I was looking for. And to really dive in like you have, so for a meathead like me, I'm trying to connect in that way. That would take practice, right? I'm just not going to be able to meditate one time and then all of a sudden be able to encounter these frequencies and see.
It depends.
Unless it's a hardcore meditation, I really get in.
I don't know. Here's the thing. You can use amethyst while you're meditating, and amethyst is going to open up your third eye. You can use a blue stone of any kind, and that is a communication stone. You know what I mean? So once you learn the chakra system, start associating the crystal colors to that. I want to communicate, so a clear crystal is a magnification of your crown chakra. It's going to activate the ability for something to communicate from above, basically. Come down into your head. And then a purple stone, the amethyst, is going to activate the third eye into your brain. And then the blue is for your throat, activating for you to be able to communicate all the way up out the top of your head, basically.
Is it something you can do every day?
Huh?
Is this something you
Yeah,
can...
I can do it all day if you want to. I used to do this 8 hours a day because I got addicted to it.
Yeah.
It was really bad. I couldn't handle going to work. I hated life. It actually had an alternate effect on me. I really needed to learn balance because I was getting high off meditation.
Right.
To the point where, like, I was getting to the point where I could have lived on a mountain. I understood that life at that point. And I had to come back down and really start focusing because I was missing work. Like,
Stop going to work. You're missing your bills, not paying.
I can't right now. I have to meditate for 5 hours.
I must meditate.
God.
Yeah.
That's awesome, though.
She was waiting for me on a mountain right now. You need to calm down, okay?
So,
I can't.
Well, I'm just thinking about it, like, for my personal life. Like, I have a wife, 3 kids. We work a lot, and, Keith and I do the show. We got a lot going on. And so I was wondering if, like, for just an everyday person that's doing these kind of things, if it's like an exercise, right? Where it's something that you can wake up and do in the morning or do it before you go to sleep, and you're going to have these results.
There's an app called Headspace, which is how I started learning how to meditate.
Cool.
Because the guy really explains a lot of things. I'll share one. The app is a cost app after a while, but you do full 10-minute meditations for 30 days, and that's free.
Cool.
And then see how that goes, and if you like it, you pay for it. But one thing that he stated was very important with learning how to focus your mind was that you need to just imagine that you're standing on the side of a road and cars are going both ways. One is positive feelings like love, happiness, joy, and the other way is negative feelings, rejection, sadness, loneliness, depression, whatever. And he said that you would not run into the street and go stop these good emotions so that you could feel them. You're not going to go out and run in front of this love car and, stop it and destroy all this stuff behind it just to get that satisfaction, that love. And you're not going to go and chase down these negative feelings. Maybe I have it backwards. I do. So you're not going to go chase the love feelings. I'm sorry. You're not going to go chase the love feelings. You're not going to go chase this happiness, these different cars. You need to watch them drive past you. And you're not going to go try to stop the ones that are negative. You need to watch them go past you. And as you watch these cars go past you, you start to notice that each one carries a different feeling. And you need to let that feeling go, drive away. And as he's talking, it literally works. Like, you can feel
I think it was just working.
Yeah, it does work.
Like, seriously. That's fantastic.
Yeah, we should do a live radio
but he
show.
just breaks it down so well. And he's like British. He has a super soothing voice, so it's nice.
Okay, Amber, here's what I'm going to do. And you're talking to us. We're from Oklahoma. Like, can you imagine me doing like a meditation tape? My voice.
Yeah, but you don't really sound Southern.
I'm going to do this, okay? I'm going to challenge myself. I like good challenges. I'm going to challenge myself to do that. It's called Headspace, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to do it for a period of time. And then we got to have her back on. Maybe we could do like a live meditation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
A group meditation.
A group, yeah.
I can teach people how to ground. I've been trying to teach meditation for a long time. That's what I want to do. I want to teach people how to do stuff because everybody has the ability within their brain to do this stuff and connect with higher beings.
I'm so ADHD though. I mean, I'll start thinking about my guitars and other things.
You know what though? I have ADHD too. Like, I have like super bad executive functioning disorder. Like, it's really ridiculous sometimes. I sit for like 6 hours, like I can't even move. But it helps you with that. ADHD is actually proven to be managed heavily by meditation alone. It is the number one documented way to help it.
See, and I went back and listened to because we had a conversation before this, right, where we got to meet each other and everything like that. And I think that was the most. And I listened to it with my wife, and we were both talking about it like over the dinner table. And I told her like the most fascinating thing for me was about the high meditation when we spoke the first time. And from what my takeaway was from that conversation was that because you are diligent and disciplined about this, you have been able to achieve a sense of awareness that the everyday person doesn't have. Therefore, you're able to have these experiences, right? And you were worried because I went back, listen, you were worried. You're like, man, I thought you guys were going to think I sound crazy. But to me, it was making perfectly good sense. I was in my head when you were talking, I was like, oh, okay, yeah. Now that's something I can latch onto, right? And so we've even had this discussion, Keith and I, with Kathy Nance,
Yeah.
Right. When we were talking about the paranormal things. And
Right.
she had 3 near-death experiences before the age of 3. And so sometimes we're forced into these situations that force us to open these portals. And other times they can be taught and learned, right? And that's kind of what you're saying is this is something that maybe you've had it in your life this whole time, but until you learned how to do it, that's when it got to a point where you could literally go to a place and run around with people in the UK.
And control it, yeah. Yeah, it's cool.
That's super
But
cool.
here's the thing, everybody does have this ability.
Right.
It's literally the desire to want to develop it because our brains, there are parts of our brains that we're not using that are sitting dormant. There's parts of our DNA that are not connected.
Man, isn't there like 60% of the brain we don't use? Something like...
The percentage goes back and forth depending on who you're
Yeah,
talking
there's,
to, but it is a large portion where you do use it for functioning, but you're not using it for attaining any
Right.
like additional knowledge.
There's so many schools of thought, Garrett, on that, on how much percentage of your brain you use. I don't think anybody really knows.
I do. I know.
You
It's
do,
like a
you do
random
know?
Google.
I use 3% of my brain.
I use about 1. I use about 1% of mine. But getting back to the stone thing, I'm so glad you said that I don't have to rinse the. I can just leave this on my desk, right, and never do anything with it, right?
I mean, if it's tourmaline, yeah, it's gonna get it.
Can I touch it? Is it okay?
Yeah. So you're just putting all the negative energy. So what happens? I mean, it absorbs the negative energy around you. Is that correct? Or
Tourmaline doesn't even absorb it; it basically negates it.
oh, okay. Oh, that makes me even feel better. So
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
not like a big ball of negative energy inside this big ball that's on my desk.
No, that's why you don't need to clear it.
God, I got
that
such.
You know,
makes
if it was
sense.
in
See,
a
I
package
got-
here, you'd have to
yeah.
clear it.
I got such bad information. These people here
You're
don't know what they're
rinsing,
talking
you're
about.
rinsing it off with Mustang
Oh,
water.
I mean, I ordered 2 or 3 of those. I
Yeah.
mean, not that size, but one like you can make a necklace out of. And she's like, well, make sure you've got to rinse it off every day. And I'm thinking, in my laziness, I'm
Yeah,
thinking,
you're like,
oh,
"Jeez,
come on,
man, I just wanna
really?
wear the thing."
Yeah, I don't got time for all that.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
But she's saying it repels.
yeah, negates
Yeah,
and
there's
repels.
the negates it,
Yes.
so it can't be in the space.
So that's a good thing. So Amber, would you like to take some questions from the?
Yeah.
Okay, so what we have to do, because we have such a horrible system here, I'm going to disconnect you, call you on Facebook, okay?
Okay.
Bring you back on, then that'll free up my line. And I promise people I will probably get a dedicated phone just for this. So, all right, so Amber, I'm going to hang up right now, and I'm going to
Okay.
contact you on Facebook, okay?
Sounds good.
All right, bye-bye. All right, people.
Isn't she awesome?
Yeah, she's so knowledgeable.
Man.
My little bitty brain just gets. Look, it says you haven't allowed Facebook access to your microphone.
Well, that's your new computer.
I know. I'm telling you, people, nothing is going right today.
That's fine.
It's horrible.
You're doing great.
No, I'm not. This is bad because people, for the most part, are impatient. Allow Facebook your microphones. Yeah, let's see. Let's try this, and if not, we'll bring Amber back on, and we just won't take phone calls. Which I hate to do that. Yeah, see, it's not. That's so silly. Garrett, talk to the audience for a little bit, and I'm going to see if I can finagle something here, buddy.
Okay. It would be great if we could get these phone calls in. That's actually my favorite part of the entire show. I love
Yeah, it
talking to
is,
the
and-
guests, and then I love hearing the questions that we're getting from people.
Yeah.
The live show is fantastic. Cindy Owens, great. I think that was her name.
Kathy Owens.
Kathy Owens. Kathy Owens was awesome.
So, Kathy, if you're listening, say hello today.
Yes.
I think.
Larry called. We were lucky enough to have Larry call from Philly.
Yeah.
I think Kathy was in Oregon at the time, so something to hang our hat on for sure.
Yeah. So you know what? We're just gonna. I have to apologize, everybody. I'm sorry.
Hey, just tell them to put it in the chat if they have a question.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Let's just do that.
So let's just call her back.
Yeah, if you have a question, put it in the chat. We'll read it. Keith will read it in his radio voice.
Hello.
Hey, Amber. I'm glad you answered the phone.
Yeah,
She
we
could have
didn't
said.
scare her away.
She could have said, "This is
No.
horrible. I'm good."
I'm sorry. I have to go. I'm really busy.
Oh my God. Montana's got her busy up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what we're going to try to do here real quick, if you can people just type in a question?
Yeah. I mean, I just now paid attention to this. I was not really reading any of this.
No, that's fine. I don't even have it pulled up, so we're having such problems here. But yeah, I apologize to everybody. And I apologize to you, Amber. I'm so sorry. But I forgot I needed an extra phone line to do that because I had you on the phone. I thought, well, I'll just call her on Facebook, and then I got this brand new computer that I haven't gave permission to allow it on my.
You know what's cool about this, though? You know why it's okay? Because I think that Amber's actually going to come back at some point.
Yeah, you'll come back.
She's going to be a reoccurring.
Yeah, probably, for sure.
We can make her a guest host or something like that.
They're asking me about my sister's brain surgery.
Okay.
I can't necessarily say that I can always remember everything that happened. I don't remember it. I don't know. Like, she's going to have to remind me, at least, like, jog my memory, because, I don't know.
I
feel like the brain can only process so much information at once, you know?
Absolutely.
So, one thing I was kind of interested in, you said you had a lot of weird things happen around the house when you had this certain person in your home. Like, what kind of activity was it? Like paranormal stuff? Was your door slamming, TV going on and off? What was going on?
Yeah, it was like there was a lot of just negative feelings. Like, we had one experience where something came right in from the kitchen, went right into the living room, basically choked them. My kids saw it, the dogs freaked out. It created a wind that hit me. And then from there, I started doing, like, the violet flame of protection and, like, yelling around the house like a crazy person. My kids crying, you know. I turned off all technology. I didn't want to be affected by anything like that. And basically, at that point, something else, another energy, basically swooped it out of my house. And the back door did slam shut.
So like a protective angel or a protective spirit or energy.
I was specifically calling to the Syrians at that point, which are from Sirius B, which are like light warriors. This is going to sound cool. So, let's see. What's the video game I want to go here? Assassin's Creed with the hood.
Cool, yes.
Mixed with the blue guy Electro from Spider-Man. Okay?
Wow, okay.
Electro with a hood on. Seriously. They're blue electric beings. A lot of them, and they're light warriors that are going to come. They're basically vigilantes. If you petition to them energetically and you need protection, they can't wait to come tear whatever it is up.
They love
it.
They're chomping at a bit. They want to get in there.
They love it. And most of them are benevolent, so they're fighting a good cause. They are here to protect humans. A lot of them work in the underground tunnels and places doing the work down there, which I can get into deeply sometime if you want.
Please.
But that's the tunnel pun. Sorry. But that's who I petitioned at the time. And they have actually done excellent work with me. I have an alternate reality, if you will, where I've had meditation both with myself, realization streams, and other people have had these same experiences where there's an entire army of millions of Syrians, and I have myself in dreams, and like I said, other people have seen these in different meditations and visions. I have spoke to all of them and basically let them know what I would need if this world were to be protected. You know, if humans needed protection. So that was kind of intense. I've had that happen 3 times to me where I've been pulled into either a meditation where I was in that body or a dream where I woke up and I'm like, oh my God, I just saw 3 million Syrians standing before me and I was speaking to them, you know?
So do you feel like that you have these dreams after you've done like some intense meditation?
It comes and goes. Sometimes I don't meditate for a long time and I'll have a dream and I'll be like, I should probably meditate.
Ah, I got it. Okay, cool.
So it's just, I try to keep the door open at all times, but I only keep it open for certain people. Syrians are awesome. Andromedans, anything benevolent that's here to assist, send love and light, that's going to help protect me or guide me on my path is cool. You know, outside of that, it's not allowed in my home. And if it is in my house, I'm going to take care of it. I'm going to get rid of it.
That's all fascinating stuff.
It is. So is Annie Mae your sister? You said?
Yes.
Yeah, she was just saying, I'm going to read some stuff she wrote. With this, I just want people to know there are species that respect you, not wanting to be taken. They would not be abducting. Letting people know it's not always an assault. So I guess what she's saying is if you are abducted, it's not always going to be an assault. It could be actually a positive thing then, correct?
Well, there's also, like I said, this could be your family. If you have a soul or any kind of, okay, we'll get weird.
Okay.
Let's say they're going to extract DNA from you as an infant. They extract this DNA from you, and then inside that, they're going to put an injection of their DNA. This doesn't mean you're born as a hybrid. You become a hybrid. From there, they are now your family genetically, even though you're a human being. So I don't know that they can even test for this. I don't think they have the ability or even the thought to. I don't think they'd even give us the technology. So now you're connected to an alien species who legitimately cares about you, and they want to show you some cool stuff. So healing chambers. The Arcturians have healing chambers, which if you look into right now, the news, they're not in main media, but there's these things called med beds. They're being revealed more and more. It's basically a hydroponic chamber that's going to use light, sound, and different frequencies to heal different diseases. This has been denied by Big Pharma. This is Arcturian technology from the actual Arcturians. If you look up Arcturian healing chamber, you're going to find a wealth of information on what these ETs do to help heal each other and human beings. My sister and I have both had experiences where we've been put in chambers by them, and it's been really, really cool. I'm kind of getting distracted. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore.
That's metaphysical, right? Like when you talk about being put inside one of these healing chambers, is it a physical chamber or is it?
Okay, this is where I'm laying down in my bed and I'm about to fall asleep, and all of a sudden, this is what happens to me specifically. 6 beings come to me, and they basically pick up my body. So I was in my room, but now they're moving me. But my body is still in my room. They're moving my energetic body. Okay?
So like your energy.
Yes.
Okay.
Shaped as me.
Okay.
But they pick me up and I'm above their hands floating, but they're all carrying me and they put me into this chamber, kind of like a doctor does. And then from there, as I go to sleep, my own self then experiences the colors and the smells and the sounds and the feeling of like wind and mist on my physical body, in my physical mind. So my physical body is also having the healing from this as a metaphysical experience.
Now, do you think someone, let's say, who has a serious disease, cancer or something like that, that they could use?
Cancer is proven to be healed at 10,000 hertz, I believe. The problem is the people that say this end up dying randomly.
Yeah.
But if you look up the people like Dr. Sebi, alkaline diet, different things like that you can do to put your body in a neutral state so that you can accept healing. Because if you have a cancer and you're not making life changes, maybe you can be stuck in a healing chamber, but are you going to appreciate that and make that life change?
Right.
You kind of,
and that could be part of your life plan as well, too.
There's babies with cancer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where it's so touchy where I don't even really want to touch on it because
I hear that.
It's so individual.
Right.
And I don't want to upset anybody.
Yeah, Annie, your sister says, maybe you can explain this to us. She said, when I woke up during the beginning of a medical brain procedure with a ET doc and I was able to tell them no, I refused and was put back in my body and I called you. I guess meaning calling you.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Okay. They asked her basically if they could take a scoop out of her brain.
Oh my God.
If they could take her, use part of her brain.
Now, if they did that, wouldn't she have severe brain damage when she comes back?
That's the thing. My sister had glaucoma and does not.
Wow.
My sister has had different cancers in the body and does not. But it can't be really, proven that anything happened to her because it's all been, like I said, with this weird metaphysical stuff.
Yeah, and you said your sister's kind of
she's like a medical phenomenon.
Yeah, a superwoman. Because didn't you say she had...
She shouldn't even be alive. There's times where she should have been dead many, many, many times, and she just ends up fine.
Yeah, didn't you say she had a blood sugar of 20 and was still up walking around?
It was 19.
19.
Yeah.
So just for the listeners, I'm diabetic, so I can tell you your normal blood sugar is about 140. So 20 is like comatose. I mean, there's absolutely no way you could be functioning. Your brain shouldn't be functioning. At that point, you need an injection of IV glucose to get you back around. So that alone is that's incredible.
Yeah, and I do want to say, though, that my sister's experience with this brain surgery that they requested, when she definitively said no, they stopped. They respected her, and they didn't continue.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a part of her that, she doesn't necessarily feel it was a negative experience because they respected her as a person.
Right, right.
Which is really the big thing when it comes to benevolence and malevolence. Is it respecting you? Is it respecting you in your space? Or is it making you feel scared?
Yeah, you got a lot of fans. There's April, it says, Amber is the person I go to for all my questions. She's extremely knowledgeable.
Thank you.
And you
nice.
are. Yeah, you're very fascinating. I mean, learned a lot from you. So,
yeah, thank you.
No problem. It's been fun. So is there anything else before we wrap this up that you want to talk about on the hybrid program, or want people to know specifically?
I do can I kind of talk about the whole alternate space?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Hey, this is all about you. So you tell whatever you want.
So a lot of the experiences that I've had within myself are me, as me, but in a different place. And it's kind of like a lab-ish type area. And there's tubes that have glowing lights in them. And these are what I believe to be the souls that are being made and produced through soul connections and different things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a group of people, ETs, whoever they are, a faction of people that are basically collecting these souls. And then further down, you would have tubes where there's more physical babies in these tubes of water. I don't know how to really describe it.
Okay.
There's pictures of it online because I've looked it up to try to understand what was going on at the time, and it's definitely not just me. So then you have different sizes, different species, and different colors of babies. Some are purple, green, whatever. And these all are going to go by size up. And from what I've experienced is from there, those babies are then taken kind of into a nursery, which is like a darkened room,
mm-hmm.
where you have a lot of, it's really cute. It's almost like they're practicing their superpowers like baby Marvel superheroes.
Cool.
So there's a lot of practicing light language, learning their abilities, learning to move quickly, learning telepathy, learning what they can and cannot do. And there's kind of a lot of them in that space. I visited this space purposefully because I find peace there, and a lot of them will swarm to you. Does this mean every baby is yours? No. A lot of people might have none of them, and some people might have 100 of them. It depends on your involvement, you know what I mean? But I have definitely been in that room and seen other females and even other males in there caring for and playing with these little hybrid babies. I'm not going to even say all these babies are from lost, because a lot of these babies are brand new souls that have never been to Earth.
Mm-hmm.
And so if they're coming in as a human form, they could start coming in rapidly. It said specifically after 2020 that there's an influx that has already come. These kids are going to be 16, 17 right now, maybe 20 at the oldest. But that at 2020, that it was really going to start kicking off, and you're going to start seeing a lot of really highly educated, very special, very powerful children with gifts that are going to change the world. That's the kind of thing we're looking for. This isn't saying that this kid has green skin and they're, breathing through their neck and they have pointy ears and hair coming off. These are not weirdos. These are going to be the highly, highly eclectic kids. They're going to make the changes that this world needs.
Man,
you know what
awesome.
I mean?
Right.
Yeah. It's basically human evolution. If something's putting a breeding program on Earth, it's also going to heighten the human.
Okay.
A lot of these kids that are nonverbal, I believe that they are telepathic, and I believe if parents really focused on learning telepathy, that a lot of these kids could communicate And I know that might cross the line, but I really, truly believe
That's what
that.
you believe.
Yeah.
So would it like autistic kids?
Not all of them specifically, and I don't really want to cross into that line, but I believe that a lot of the kids, if they're fully intellectual, they're like right there. You know what I mean? And they just don't talk. They're talking somehow. They're communicating somehow. Where do they live? You know, are they living in their mind? A lot of these kids are telepathic. I think it's a skill that everybody needs to develop. I think it's imperative.
How do you
Remote
develop
viewing
it?
and telepathy.
Is that through meditation?
Through
as well?
practice. You can get these flashcards that have like 4 shapes on them: square, circle, triangle, plus. And you basically test yourself repeatedly,
Cool.
until you can start to feel the energy of a card. Remember that each shape has a frequency, has a vibration.
Right.
The vibration of that shape on the card is going to come to you once you focus and connect with that card.
We'll have Garrett do that live.
I'll do it live.
I think that'd be cool.
I'm gonna.
I actually have a
this stuff.
post on my kid that did this. We have a deck, and she did this, and she was like 8 cards deep without missing.
That's amazing.
Hey, I've got a buddy that
cool.
wants to ask you a question. Is that okay?
Okay, yeah.
He wants to know, is there any connection between aliens and the black-eyed children?
Black-eyed children are a cool phenomenon. I can't say that they're ET. I don't know.
What do you
I
have?
don't have enough information on the black-eyed children, honestly, to know if they're ET.
Yeah. Do you believe in?
I do. Go ahead.
No. Do you believe that there are black-eyed children? I mean.
Oh yeah, I've seen black-eyed adults. Like I know that it's real, but I feel that's more like some kind of dark entity, but I can't place where it would be from.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I think they're cute, honestly. But I have this weird thing, like I told you guys.
But they say they always.
If it's
go ahead. God, psych. But they always ask, like, can we come in?
Come in?
Yeah. Do you have
well,
some?
they have to be invited.
It's time to eat. You know, like, and they do that.
Can we use your phone?
Right. So it's almost like you have to invite them, and then if you invite them, that's the thing. I don't think anybody's ever invited them to see what happens.
Well, it's a very vampiric type feel. Like a vampire has to be invited in.
Yeah.
I'd take them with the same energy. If you can't come in my house without my permission, one, you're not strong enough to harm me because you can't come in, and you know, maybe vampiric.
But what if that's all they need though? Is that invitation to physically be strong enough to?
That's all a vampire needs. You know?
Yeah, true.
Just say no.
I would 100% not let a vampire in my house.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't let a kid in my house
that's the
either.
problem with like me, like my weird
Unless he's gonna
teenage
take my
mind.
trash
I was
out.
like, I was reading Anne Rice novels at like 13, like back to back. So I had a pretty weird mind. I would have let a vampire in at that point, but I learned now that they come in human form also, and not to do that.
Okay, and I got another question my buddy wants me to ask you. He wants to know, what's the connection between Bigfoots and aliens?
Bigfoot is a 4th dimensional species. So it's believed that he may be some kind of hybrid from what I've read. And I've even read that they may have like spaceports in different places, even on Earth, and that they can go into different places.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe that they're a species of ET, but I know that they're in that 4th dimensional wave, like where the reptilians are. It's just, that's why you can't get pictures of them, because they just slip into that.
Yeah, we actually kind of touched on that a little bit whenever we spoke to you first. And we have a Bigfoot episode. It's actually about an Art Bell episode, about Bigfoot. And and then so we recorded that, aired it, and then we spoke with you later. And I always tell Keith, like, for me, Bigfoot, I'm like, okay, I'm not a huge believer. And then it's another one of those things where we talked with you, and then you brought up the multi-dimensional creature, and that to me made more sense as to why we can't catch photos or evidence, because it's slipping in and out of this dimension either purposely, or do you think it's on purpose, or do you think it's
because certain people can see them. So certain people have a heightened perception, certain people do not. You can have the same group of people.
Of that species.
One person will see a Bigfoot, 4 other people will be like, "You're dumb. I didn't see anything." It's because some people can see through certain veils. If you have a higher density within your body, you can be born this way. You have a higher vibrational frequency. You can see further into higher dimensions as you go. And you can teach yourself how to do this. So if you're out hunting for Bigfoot and you have a 4th dimensional vibration, it's going to appeal to you more than anybody else. And it may show itself to you as an act of, hey, cool. You know, good job. You won the award.
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah,
So you're saying basically you could have 5 people and maybe 1 or 2 of them can be looking at a Bigfoot, but the other 3 can't see him.
I mean, you can see that happens within groups of people all the time when you study the Bigfoot phenomenon. It'll say 2 or 3 of them, oh my God, it's Bigfoot right there. You know, I see it right there. And, oh, what? I missed it. I don't know what you're talking about. Where'd it go? You know?
That's cool. Yeah. That makes more sense to me. That makes a lot more sense to me.
Yeah.
Well, anything else, Amber, you want to add?
Not really.
Okay.
I think I covered the basics at least.
Yeah, there's just so much. We need to get you back on the show so we can talk about other things. Because you've got so many. How do you take care of 5 pages? I can barely do 1.
It's just because I'm neurotic about the internet. I've been on the internet since I was like 13 years old, and I just run it. I don't know. I feel strongly connected. It's probably because I'm an alien being, right? So my brain is works way better on technology.
Yeah.
I don't know. There was a point where I needed to get my message out. But see, the problem is my message is so complex that if I tell it to really one person, I can overwhelm people. And I had noticed that people are like, okay, pat you on the back, over.
So you basically
so I need to break it up.
Yeah, you've categorized it.
Hence why you have 5 pages. Pleiadians are more like they're 5-dimensional. They're even higher. That's what a lot of the spiritualists want to attain to. The ability to communicate without the body, the ability to transverse, into higher dimensions, to communicate with these beings. And they're a lot of the first awakenings. This is where you're going to have the people just being 1111. Pleiadians are our closest cousin as far as aliens are concerned. So they look like us. They speak telepathy. They'll speak English to you. So they want to hang out with you, and they want to communicate with you deeply because they want to guide your soul to a higher understanding. So the Pleiadians is kind of like a wake-up group. Andromedans is like the weirdos where we're like, all right, our life is a video game. Why do I see purple people that are 14 feet tall in my house? What is going on? You know what I mean? Like, why am I dreaming that my soul is being shot through a potato gun? What is happening? That's how Andromeda. Why is everything made of ice and diamonds? I can't place this. That's all happening in Andromeda. So I had to break it up.
So Amber, do you counsel people? It sounds like there's a lot of viewers saying that Amber helped me with this, Amber helped me with that. So is that a service you offer to your followers? I
mean, I don't really offer a service. People tell me that I should, but really I just keep an open mind. And so if somebody comes to me and says, the craziest thing happened to me, I automatically am going to believe that person 100% because I want them to believe me. So I just keep an open door, and I try to give the advice that I would want to hear, and I try to support people to the best of my ability because I know that a lot of us are having a lot of weird things happen to us. A lot of us believe that we're mentally ill. A lot of us go through that. Am I schizophrenic? Do I need to see a doctor? Why is my ear ringing? So...
Well, do you think some of it is mental illness, though?
I mean, to an extent, some of it can be categorized as that because a lot of it happens within the mind. Is it an illness or is it a gift? That's the question. It's how it's perceived through society. So does it need medication? Because sometimes people talk to me in my mind. Someone's going to say yes. But the thing is, when someone says something to me in my mind and I put it on the internet, I have 55 other people saying, I heard the same thing at the same time.
There's 2 sides to every pancake.
It's validation, yeah.
2 sides to every pancake.
There is. There's
I have
2
not
sides.
heard that.
Is it positive or is it negative? How do you use it? How do you interpret it? Can you meditate?
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Matthias DiStefano would argue that there's 9 sides to everything, and then he would explain to you how.
Man.
Wow. Well, Amber, thank you so much for being on the show today.
It's been another fascinating hour, 2 hours. With
yeah,
Amber.
it has.
Great.
It has. Even with all the quirks we had, the technical problems, it still turned out to be a pretty good show.
Man, it was awesome.
I was panicking. through the first
He was panicking.
15 minutes.
I was just chilling and just listening to everything he
I
said. It was
know.
amazing.
Yeah, he's not the captain of the ship. I'm
I'm
running
not.
everything over here. And I'm trying at the
Right.
same time I'm trying to listen to her, trying to do this over here and listen to you, and so it's just we got to
Yeah,
get
he's the hype guy.
yeah, we
vibe guy.
got to get a producer. We got to get a producer so I can yeah, it's just crazy. But anyway, Amber, thank you so much.
Thank you so
being
much
on.
for taking time. Seriously, Amber, thank you.
And
Yeah.
I apologize for all the technical problems.
It's fine. It worked out.
yeah.
Things happen when they're supposed to, man. We just needed
Absolutely.
to build enough followers in this group to get started. It's called building attention.
Right, which reminds me, everybody who is over at Life After Life on Facebook, please come to YouTube and subscribe and hit that like button, because we're probably going to be doing all our live streams now from YouTube. I think so.
Cool.
I think it's a little easier format for me to run. And so if you guys could do that for me, that'd be great. Let's get as many followers as we can, and let's educate, and learn from each other, right?
Thank you, Amber.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Amber.
for sure. Thank you, guys. I
Good night.
appreciate it.
All
Have
right,
a good night.
have a
Thank
good
you.
night. All right, we want to thank everybody for showing up. Again, I apologize to the whole community. That was a bit embarrassing there at the beginning.
But do you think that we need to apologize? Because for me, that was a fantastic conversation. Technical difficulties, yeah, but conversation.
I
with
think it's how I am. It's like I
is.
like structure, and I like
do.
everything to go perfectly.
Accordingly,
And when
right.
it doesn't, I'm like, God, that was a horrible show. That was a horrible
Nope.
show. But actually, it was a good show.
Yeah.
And Amber made it a good show.
Shit, man. Hey, some of that stuff, I'm like, I'm gonna have to go back and listen to this, do a little bit more research, and I can't wait to talk to her again in a month or two.
Yeah. Well, anyway, guys, thank you so much for
Night.
tuning in. And please, please, please go to YouTube, smash that like button, hit the subscribe. Also do the same over on